Welcome back to Stampy's Random Reviews and Tutorials. In this series of videos I'm going to be looking at servicing my own car, which is a Ford Focus. But first of all I need access to the underside of the car to remove the sump plug. So what I thought I'd do in this first video is I'm going to build some wooden car ramps. Now the reason for this is I've done a bit of research on these this morning. You can buy the big metal ones from Halfords, but the angle of the ramp's quite steep. So I've been watching some videos, I've seen people catch the cars on them. I've also seen the plastic ramps you can buy where people have tried it and they've slid under the wheels. The best videos I've seen are the wooden car ramps that you can build yourself. So in this video we're going to build some wooden car ramps to give ourselves access to the underside of the car and remove the sump plug. So I've come to B&Q because I'm going to buy the pieces of wood from here, and you can actually get a few cuts done for free. So I'm hoping that when I get home I haven't actually got to cut any of this wood myself. So let's have a look inside and I'll show you what I'm going to buy, and when we get back I'll show you the measurements you're going to need as well. So just in B&Q timber yard, if you've got a large B&Q or a small B&Q in your town, go to the larger one. You've got massive pieces of wood here, or any timber yard. Make sure you go to one that does long length pieces of wood, then you can get it cut down. But you can see here for £30 I can buy this here, which is, I think it's around 8.5 inches wide, and the main thing is it's 2 inches deep because we're going to be stepping this up as we go along. I'm probably going to need a piece and a half of this, so I'm going to go back inside and see if they do a half piece of this as well. I'm going to get them to cut it down to the measurements, which I'll tell you when I get back. So Jersey's coming to help us. So the basic idea of this is you can build these up in steps like this, so I don't really need to get under the car that much further, so I might not use all these, but these are 10-inch by 2-inch pieces of wood, and the idea is I've tried to do them 7 inches apart in the drops. So if I put all this together as it currently is, this was actually the offcut that I didn't need. It just turned out that it was about 7 inches longer than this piece. So this was 45 inches, 38,
yeah, 31,
31 and 25 inches, and it is 10 by 2, very close to 10 by 2, isn't it? Something like that. You tape measure? No. I think it's just under 10 inches. There's a ticket. I'll put something on screen that shows you the dimensions in millimetres as well, but I'm a bit old school, so I'm going to do that. So I think what I'm going to do is, when I find a tape measure, is this is 22 centimetres. Now I was in Halfords this morning actually looking at car ramps, and it says the height of these was 20 centimetres. Now the reason I didn't buy these car ramps this morning is because the slope is so steep. I've seen videos where cars basically go on them and the front of the car basically bumps on the ramp and it takes off the actual front end of the car, which I really don't want. So we'll just measure these and I'll just tell you exactly what width they are across here. What were they, mate, in the end?
8.5 inches.
8.5 inches by 2 inches. So as you can see, we've got this from B&Q, and I'll put the sticker on screen now of all the dimensions in millimetres as well. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off the second one and the fourth one for now and see how it looks. And the reason is it gives me more length between each one to go up the gradient, which should theoretically make it easier to drive up. So I'm going to try that now and see what it looks like, and then we're going to screw all this together. So that's what it's like with 3 pieces, but you can see here you've got a longer piece to drive across and like a slower gradient to drive up, but I'm not sure that's quite high enough, so we'll just measure that. I think we'll probably go with 4. So what's that? That's 14, isn't it? 14 centimetres. With them all on it was 22, so I think we're going to put one more back on and we'll take a look at that. So what we've decided to do is not use this offcut because it's going to get too heavy to move about and too long to store, so obviously we're going to have to put this somewhere. So we've decided to go with the original ones, which are 45 inches, 38,
yeah,
31 and 25, and that gives us a height here of 18 centimetres, which is just 2 centimetres short of what the standard car ramps are when you buy them from Halfords. So we're going to screw these together. We're going to make 2 of these up and then we'll give it a try. So I'll show you how I'm going to put this together. So I'm no joiner, but here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to pilot hole these first so I can put these screws. So I've only got what I've got, which is a selection of slightly different screws. They're probably about 2.5 inches it'll go through. So I've got this pretty close to being level, as good as I can kind of get it. So I'm just going to pilot hole this. You can see with this tool here, the one I've picked just slightly goes into the one below here. So I'm going to pilot hole these, and I'm going to get a couple of screws in just to get a fix in. I'm going to do 2 there, I'm going to do 2 in the middle. And 2 at this end. And just because I don't want to make a complete hash of a job of it, I'm going to countersink the holes as well before I put these screws in. So I'm just going to countersink these holes. You can see here I've just got a little tool that goes in here. Should just about be the size of these screw heads. Let's just take a look at that. Yeah, we're somewhere close. So I'm going to do these ones here. So I've countersunk these, as you can see, they're just slightly bigger than the heads of the screws, because obviously you don't want to put anything through your tyre. We'll just sink these slightly lower. These ones aren't really going to matter because they're going to be covered by the next piece of wood, but we might as well try and make a half decent job of it. You can see how they're just sunk down slightly below it, but that's absolutely fine, you get the idea. We're going to continue putting the next pieces of wood on. So I'm just going to mark off where these screws are, just slightly here, just so when I do the one above it, I'm not screwing into the same places as the previous screws. So we're making progress. I'm just marking off this top one now, to make sure we don't go through the same screws again, but you see you get the basic idea here. All these screws are just below the surface here, so when you're going up this with your tyres in your car, nothing's going to get damaged, nothing sticking through. So we're just drilling the pilot holes again, marking off the screws below so we don't go through the same ones. Right, so this is the first one built. I've just put some screws in here. These are like SPAC screws, floorboard ones, and the idea of these is they've got a gap in the middle. It's supposed to pull the pieces of wood together. So I've just put one of these and each one here as well, and at the end, and then I've built this off the offcut, just an 8cm stop at the end, so I've got plenty of room for the tyre to land on this top step. Probably a bit too much, but that's the way I want it, so I've got to drive it up here of course, and then I've got a good amount of stop that's securely fixed at the end. And that's the first one built. It's probably better for me to film it around here. You can see here what I've got, and that top step is quite a long one, so I've got plenty of room to get that wheel on the top of there. I'm going to build the second one and then we'll give this a try. Right, so here we go. We've got these on here. I've got this up here. It's got an automatic handbrake on, so that's on. I've left the car in gear. Ideally I need to put something behind these back wheels in case this decides to roll back. So as you can see here, I've got quite a lot of space. Could even go forward a little bit there, but nothing's going to collapse. It went up there fairly smoothly. I was going to take a chunk off this first one here, but it went up nice and solid, and hopefully you can see here under the car just how much gap I've got under here. So you can see here I can easily get under here now to do whatever I need to do to change the oil, etc. And you can see I've actually got a little bit of something hanging off under there, which I'm just going to go and have a look at. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you're thinking of doing this, of course, you're doing it at your own risk. You've got to be very careful with things like this, and you know, looking after your car and your own safety line underneath. So maybe get yourself some axle stands as well, just make doubly sure that you're really safe. So I hope it's helped you out. I really prefer these to the plastic ones that slide around, and the metal ones that have got a really big slope on. I've seen people struggling with that are sliding along the driveways. So if it's helped you out, please leave me a like and consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out, and it'll help this video get shared with other people as well. And have a look in the description below this video as well, and I'll link to a couple of tools I use, such as my Ryobi multi-tool I've just got, which is really fantastic, and the Ryobi drill I can use with the same battery as well. Thanks for watching, and check out some of these other videos that have been shown on the cards now. See you later.